Welcome to the Little Autumn Cleanse series. This little video focuses on shame, specifically toxic shame. So toxic shame is such a big problem in the body, and it's often really hard to shift because we don't address the toxic shame for what it is. We really look at the other surface emotions. So if you're looking at an emotional scar and you've got a wound within your emotional body, that wound is toxic shame. And often on top of it, we put a band-aid emotion. So our band-aid emotions might be the grief, it might be the guilt, it might be the self-worth, it might be the doubt, it might be the self-confidence. And all of those things are on the top. So when we logically go to address why we're feeling rubbish and why we're not able to shift our emotions, often we look at the surface emotion that's on the top and we're not actually addressing the toxic shame. I've got a beautiful little card that I have started using in clinic. It's the more you look into toxic shame, the more it actually comes up. And it really looks at a few of the common toxic shame aspects or shame. Shame of unwanted exposure, shame of a loss of creativity, shame of disappointed expectations, shame as love, shame as betrayal, shame as exclusion, shame as abandonment, shame as abuse, shame as evilness, or shame as a loss of spirituality. I thought they're really interesting themes to explore how we actually perceive shame. Shame is what's held within our body of those emotions. So it's very relative to heavy metal cleanse, autumn cleanse, metal element cleanse, because we're letting go of what is toxic within our body, what lies deep, what we're unable to shed on its own. So I thought I'd start with shame because this is a little tapping sequence and all you need to do is connect with shame, and it kind of does a lot of the shifting at a deep subconscious level. And good for anyone. So even if you're listening to this video and you're not connecting with, oh, well, I don't really feel shame, do it anyway. Like, it's awesome. And a lot of the emotions that we're using on top of it to manage that deep-seated shame will go. And shame is an emotion that is an amygdala emotion. So often we don't have the words to express it. We might not realize or be able to articulate that that's where we're at. We might be triggered by a facial expression or a smell or a memory and things like that. Or we might have learnt the shame from someone else. Like, I know definitely within my lifetime in teaching and even at home, shame is something that comes up all the time. So shame, we're just connecting. So we're just going to tap out shame. While we're tapping, we might connect to where we feel shame in our body, the last time we felt shame, what shame means for us, how we see shame in our kids, how we see shame in ourselves, how do we see shame in our parents, how did we learn shame, all of those kind of things, just connecting with shame. And that's the whole sequence. We're then moving on to our gamut point, and our gamut point has a little tapping sequence and a few eye positions. So we're just looking straight forward, eyes open, eyes closed, eyes open, eyes down to the left, back to the center, eyes down to the right, back to the center, a big circle round, pausing at any points that you feel unstuck, circling back the other way, humming, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then coming back to our shame. How do we feel it? Shame. Shame of ourselves, shame of others, feeling other people's shame, hiding in shame, over talking in shame. Shame as embarrassment, shame as humiliation, shame. And then we're just coming back to our gamut point. And this time we're looking down at the ground, so looking at our feet where we're anchored, and just rolling our eyes and our head fingers out, left and right hemispheres connecting, breathe. Gauging in how you feel, you might cycle straight away again. You might do 3 tapping sequences within the first hour, and then maybe just do your shame tapping each morning, part of your mindful activity. You might tap through the cleanse. So if you were tapping and doing it, you might do a drink in the water or a supplement or your first one, and then tap out your sequence to shame, really connect with it and really sort of shift that underlying emotion. I also really like to do lots of tapping in the car. I find this an easy spot. And I even have a little sticker sometimes that I put in the car that says, remember to tap out shame. And every time I'm driving, I'm like, oh, okay. And connecting to it. And it's that anchoring in that practice of letting go shame. So this is the first of many, but most of all, I hope that helps.